早上好，为这一天感谢上帝。我希望你一切都好。我很担心，普通话帮助我放慢速度。如果你会说普通话，谢谢你的支持，我爱你们。你今天有计划吗？我今天可能会见到我的孩子，为我们的孩子感谢上帝。我们需要我们的孩子，和我们的孩子需要我们，这是很重要。我是他们的父亲，我爱他们。对不起，我想念他们很多，感觉太不好。So hopefully I get to see him today. 感谢收听，再次，我希望你一切都好。我有话要说，我知道我需要说英语。我不在乎，我会，每个人都懂英语。感谢学习英语，我明白。I wanted to have a discussion about the conscious eating plan that I have developed. 感谢你对我一生的工作感兴趣。Thanks for your interest in my life's work. In this particular discussion, I'm going to be talking about staying full. In the conscious eating plan, you have to be able to acknowledge what foods are keeping you full and what foods are not. And the foods that are not, it's good for you to have at least a basic understanding as to why they're not keeping you full at those times. Obviously, staying full and keeping the hunger feeling out of your stomach and out of your mind, well, that is an indication to you that you're properly feeding your body. And if you can go 5-6 hours without food calmly, chances are you're doing well. But you have to make sure you're not malnourished, so your body still does need things. However, there are some foods that are good for us, but don't really keep us full. And then there's other foods that are going to guarantee that you feel hungry again before you should feel hungry again. So as an example from my study, I'm going to talk to you about cereal. Two cereals I do eat, multigrain Cheerios and Quaker Harvest Crunch. At first I was thinking that maybe the Harvest Crunch would not keep me full as long because it had a bit more sugar in it. But I was happy to prove myself wrong about that. Now, what it goes back to is the multigrain Cheerios are good for you, and there's barley and a lot of good things in there. The only thing about it is largely carbs. Some people think that carbs are not good for us, but that's not true. The thing about carbs is they don't keep us full, and they're not going to keep you full, because carbs don't generally do that because of the way that the body just burns them up. But I would like my viewers to think of carbs like the pull on the lawnmower. You still need to get it going, but once you do, well, the carbs aren't going to keep you going. So that's why carbs are really good in the morning, because they can kind of stoke the fire. Now with the multigrain Cheerios, I didn't find it kept me full as long as the Harvest Crunch, And what it went back to was confirmation of the vitamin, mineral, natural enzyme creation through my food. See, the Harvest Crunch did have a little bit more sugar, but it also had a raisin and an almond. So in that, I had a grain, I had an almond, I had a raisin, I put almond milk on it, and that very much so was allowing my body to put keys in the holes, create my own enzymes, and that gave me a peppier, more positive perspective and kept me full longer than the multigrain Cheerios on their own, because on their own, they're good for you, but they're just a lot of carb. But again, it's very common for Cheerios to encourage their customers to put fruit and nuts on their cereal themselves. I do feel like a lot of people overlook the significance to that process and maybe skip it thinking it doesn't really matter. Well, Cheerios can't put fresh fruit into cereal for obvious reasons. But the good news about it is, it doesn't matter what fruit you want to put on it. It doesn't matter what nut you want to put on it. It doesn't really matter in reference to that. Because you can customize it and you can include it. And in doing that, you will get the exact same stay full effect from linking keys and making your own enzymes, because you're putting the effort to put the fruit and nuts in. I know that a lot of people know about doing that. I just don't know that everybody understands the significance to how it can improve the day and make eating that cereal more worthwhile. Because you could see how if you put fruit and nuts on it and used almond milk, well, that very much so, if you're not even a big eater, that very much so can keep you full for a while. That could be considered like a good feeding for you. So I believe that will make sense in reference to making sure you got the vitamin, which is the male or the female, and the mineral, which is the male, and getting them to connect. You don't have to know what keys go in what holes. Nature does. But by giving those things to your body can then create your own enzymes and keep you full longer. They can put dehydrated fruit in cereal boxes, and dehydrated, as long as it's just a pure dehydrated fruit, it can still be very healthy. Dehydrated vegetables that are busted down into powder can very much still be used to add to foods and stuff. You don't really lose a whole lot of the nutrients because of the process if it's done properly. So fruit can be done the same way. However, it is very common to have factory made dehydrated fruit, meaning, like for example, it may say strawberry on the box, but when you turn it and look at the ingredients, it'll say strawberry flavored cherries. They're allowed to do it, and I'm not really beefing it per se, but I won't eat them because they're factory made to taste like strawberries, but they're actually cherries. And so in that, I would just rather buy the cereal with nothing in it and add my own fresh stuff to it. You can add wheat germ to cereal. You won't even taste it, but it'll be in there. And wheat germ actually has a lot of the minerals that you need to activate a lot of different vitamins. So if you just don't even want to bother going through the efforts of putting the fruit and nuts in, even if you sprinkle wheat germ on your cereal and then put your milk on it, it'll make a big difference. I strongly suggest that everybody of all ages stay away from cereals that are high in sugar. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, what gender you are, or what position you are on the planet. Sugar does the same thing to the human body globally. And you can have symptoms of like a sugar addiction where 2 or 3 hours later, you're feeling a little antsy because you want to eat something because of the sugar situation. You can be in elementary school and have this issue, and it can contribute to your lack of focus in the classroom because your child is a creature of nature and it needs things, and you're giving it sugar and carbs and sending it to school. I don't agree. Like I just said about the multigrain Cheerios, they're carby and they're not going to keep you full, but they do have essential nutrients, and if you add your own fruit and nuts to it, it can be very useful to you in the morning. Well, now let's go back to the kids' cereal. Know that we're starting with a sugary carb to base, and then instead of putting fruit and nuts in it, throw marshmallows in it. There, you're fed. Go to school. I'm sorry to put it to you like that, but it's not sinking in. And your children are the ones that are eating that way and going to school and being told that they need to focus. It's important. Please keep sugar out of your breakfast cereal. You could see how you can very easily add fruit and nuts to it and make it healthier and choose the proper cereals for your health. And when you do, you will stay full longer. I want to add to the stay full longer conversation. 谢谢你的时间. Thanks for your time. Just like I mentioned about how I took Elvis's breakfast, because I ate a similar thing. I just didn't fry it. Peanut butter banana. But I took away the white bread and made it grain bread. I took away the sugar peanut butter and I made it all natural peanut butter. And then I put pepitas and cinnamon on it, fresh ground cinnamon. And what happened was I didn't need the banana. If I did eat the banana, it kind of felt like I was eating too much. But it was the exact same meal, just with healthier substitutes that, based on the vitamin, mineral, enzyme knowledge that I have, I figured that is what would happen, and it did. So I still want my banana, I still need my banana, and I still feel a little bit hungry before lunch, but that's because I get up and eat at like 5 or 6 in the morning, and I don't eat lunch till like 12, so I have six or 7 hours in between. So when I feel the need, I have the banana then. And I very comfortably get to my next meal, even if it's 7 or 8 hours away. And I would have never been able to do that before I improved the quality of my consumption, because due to the lack of quality of my own consumption, I wasn't able to stay full, and it wasn't my body's fault, it was my fault because of what I was putting in. So as soon as I changed it in all aspects of my life, well, my grocery bill went way down. And everybody tells me how expensive it is to eat healthy, and they're not really considering how much they overeat. And that's really awkward for me to say, but meat is very expensive to buy. And I do respect you as a meat eater, but the money you spend buying meat can buy a lot of vegetables that are rich in nutrition. We don't want everybody quitting meat, but I do hope you can take meat eating responsibly. I have posted a video about it. Thank you for your interest in my perspective on that topic. So you could see how the quality of the food has been keeping me full longer, minimizing my overeating, and helped me kick my sugar addiction. When I was kicking my sugar addiction, I had to set times of when I was allowed to eat based on the basic day that I was going to have. And there was times in between those times where I was very much so acting like I was quitting cigarettes. It was like an extreme hanger because I was doing it. I was getting rid of the sugar addiction because I was freeing my vessel of all addictions. 我做的, I did it. And now, when I look back if I was to try to help others try to kind of figure out their own situation, you can set very specific times for you to eat. And if you get a little aggravated in the middle, you kind of have to remind yourself that you just ate not long ago. And by not letting yourself just indulge in those moments, it will likely start jogging thoughts for you like, well, what did I eat last? And why isn't it keeping me full? And then you'll start to think about it in your own way, because you don't need to eat the exact same foods as me, but you do need the same vitamin, minerals, and enzymes, but you can get that from a wide variety of foods all over the planet. So you need to consider the quality of your food. Carbs are not going to keep you full, but you do need them. So in reference to that, like most things that are white, like potatoes and rice and even quinoa, the white one, it doesn't really keep me full as long because it's just carby, and it doesn't mean I don't need it. However, in reference to like quinoa, where there is a light and dark option, the darker option is healthier, is higher in quality, and it will keep you full longer than the white one. But the white one is good. But again, in relevancy to this conversation, I'm discussing staying full and making sure that the food you do choose can keep you full so you don't overeat. I believe you will intuitionally understand all of that. I hope you can apply it to your own life and help improve the quality of your own life. Obviously, by not overeating, you're also saving on calories and money. So, and adding health, allowing your body to feel like it can trust you to feed it as a creature of nature. And in that, the garbage that you do eat, it will flush a lot easier because it knows good stuff is coming. So if you don't, it doesn't know good stuff is coming, and it's going to store the extra. And that has been the way humans are built and designed since as long as humans have been on the planet. It didn't change because of any of our decisions in the food industry. That need and that vitamin, mineral, enzyme setup, all of that's just humans. It always has been, it always will be, because that's the nature of it. But our food has very much so natural and unnatural products on the market. And again, if you look at the organic section in a grocery store in Canada, there is an organic section. But then if you think about all the other food that's available in the grocery store, well, that's most likely factory food compared to the small percentage of organic food. And you can see how factory food is bullying its way into a monopoly in our grocery stores. And in that, most people are eating factory food, not natural food. So in that, most people are not feeding their bodies as creatures of nature, but rather a creature of finance. And that's why our health is fucked. But the good news is nature is just waiting for us to do the right thing. We're still here. We're still kicking. And if we just eat what nature wants us to eat, it'll just correct itself. It took roughly 40 years to get to the degree we're at in normalizing unnatural foods. So, purely theoretical, natural foods over 20 to 40 years should just balance it out. Additionally, if the children know the truth about natural and unnatural foods, well, they themselves can start to wean out the unnatural options for the understanding of their own health. Because obviously, if the flood is going to be to this degree in reference to unnatural products, the children need to know the truth so they can be healthy. And Zysa, globally, we just want healthy children and healthy economies so we can have healthy civilization. So I really appreciate everybody's time. I hope you can put some thought into the conscious eating plan in reference to how long you're staying full, making sure you stay full, and giving your own food choices an assessment for the sake of your own health. I'm going to go about my day now. I don't know what the day has in store for me other than pizza, but I'll be back online as soon as possible. In the meantime, 今天吃得好，保持乐观，度过美好的一天，这是很重要。我爱你们，对所有人的和平与爱，再次感谢上帝。再见。